council in Kent is considering introducing fines for people who are caught swearing in public if it causes distress, harm or harassment.
It's part of Thanet District Council's plans to clamp down on antisocial behaviour. Our reporter, Will Vernon, has been speaking to people in Margate about the issue.
Marvellous Margate. The glorious sights and smells. But as for the sounds, well, some here are dreaming of a Margate that's a little less sweary.
According to the proposals, which would cover all of Thanet, fines could be issued for using foul or abusive language, which could cause harassment, alarm or distress.
If you're being abusive and come across aggressive to a person, then I support that, yeah. I do support that, yeah.
I'm sure you never use bad language.
I'm a good guy. I wouldn't use it. I don't believe in swearing or bad language.
Do you ever use bad language in public, sir?
No. And if I do, and if other people do, I think there should be more law enforcement on the street to enforce it, rather than the council using every excuse they can to raise cash.
I've got to say it sounds way too draconian. I'm someone who really advocates for free speech. To talk about fines for that, I think is, not a good idea.
If someone directly to you, insulting you verbally and harassing you verbally, that's something different.
I can imagine the language that would be used being given one of those fines.
The council says their proposals have been misunderstood by many.
It's not about casual swearing, it's where language can upset people, causing them harassment, alarm or distress. And people should be able to visit our towns without experiencing that. So there aren't any words that people couldn't use, it's the impact those words would have on other people around them. And so, as I say, it's a proportionate response, and it's not a subjective thing, it's objective. What would upset a reasonable person?
If your language gets a little bit saucy, you could be fined £100. That will be reduced to £60 if paid within 14 days.
But free speech campaigners say the rules go too far, and adequate laws are already in place.
There is already the Public Order Act, but the difference with the Public Order Act and this proposal is that in the Public Order Act there is safeguarding against someone who might accidentally offend someone to the point that they're harassed, alarmed or distressed. So in order to be prosecuted under the Public Order Act, there has to be intent. There isn't that safeguarding measure in the proposed PSPO.
If the proposal is agreed at a meeting this evening, it'll be implemented straight away. The message from the council and its supporters: mind your manners in Margate. Will Vernon, BBC News, Kent.
Let's talk to lexicographer Susie Dent. Susie, morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning,
so
Megan.
how often do you swear?
I find as I get older, I actually swear a little bit more, but always in private. So there is quite a lot of research, actually, into the physiological benefits of swearing. So if you stub your toe, I think, many of us then might let out a particular word, whatever our favourite is, or women in labour, another classic time when swearing might be quite useful. So the medical benefits, I think, are proven, but there is a real difference between that personal and the private. And I think some of the interviewees there, actually, in your VT, put it really well. I think if there is a chance that you're going to offend, it's all about respect. So I think swearing in public, particularly aggressively, can be problematic.
Attention,
I'm
the
so
fan
sorry.
test is due to begin.
I'm so sorry.
It will be finished by 8:45. Thank you.
I've clearly got a fire alarm that's just about to come out in the studio. Apologies.
No problem, Susie. We'll keep going until it disrupts us too much. You make that point, don't you, about swearing when it becomes offensive. And I think most people will forgive a swear word if, like you say, you stub your toe, you're in extreme pain or in extreme shock. But it's when it's used against other people. That's the issue, isn't it? And that's, I think, what's trying to be policed here.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And, we've always had what we call bad language. If you go look at the graffiti in ancient Rome, for example, it was obscene then, it would be obscene to modern eyes. now, and profanity actually means outside the temple. So it's language that is not sacred. It's always been the language of rebellion. And actually our squeamishness has shifted over time in terms of what we think of as being taboo. And that's quite fascinating historically. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It is all about how other people are going to perceive it. And we're really good at code switching, Maggie. You know, we would no more sort of write a job application in text speak, for example, than we should be swearing in front of young children or people who we think it might offend. So it's all about being careful.
Yeah, indeed. Morning, Susie. It's Charlie here.
Morning,
Indeed, just a moment ago when you had that little moment of the alarm going off, you did exactly that, didn't you? Because in other circumstances, you might have sworn if you're in private, something's going wrong, but you knew the situation you're in, so you would never dream of doing that.
No, that's absolutely right. And I think for the most part, we are really good at doing that. I think when we're in groups and there's a sort of group code, you know, it might be teenagers, it might be, I don't know, people on a night out. I think then it becomes this sort of in-group thing where swearing is a marker that you sort of belong together. And, you know, and I think that's when we are more likely to hear, you know, on a night out on a Friday evening, you're more likely to hear it because people are sort of less careful, I think. It's notoriously difficult to police swearing because language is a democracy. We tend to sort of be able to choose our words, but I think it is all about context, and as long as we actually respect that, then we should be okay. So I can see both sides to the argument.
Susie, is potty mouth one word or two?
Oh my goodness, I would say two probably, but if you're talking about potty mouthed language, that's probably hyphenated, Charlie.
Oh, OK, yeah. I don't think I've ever written it down before. I was just thinking about it as you were talking then. Do you think...
thinking Susie's a potty mouth?
No, I was just thinking it's a phrase people use, isn't it? You know, especially with children, you say, oh, potty mouth. I'd never seen it written down before, so I didn't know there was two words or one.
No, and it's never come up on count either because it's too long. So that's my instinct anyway.
All right. You know, we were talking about comedy and sitcoms earlier on. In popular culture, do you think language, I was going to say it's got worse, has got more kind of extreme? Is there an acceptance of swearing in sort of, I don't know, theatre maybe more normally, but on television and that kind of thing, more so now than it used to be?
Yes, definitely. I think even on radio, actually, you're likely to hear it a little bit more. But, you know, there are sort of watershed rules, as you well will know. So, you know, you aren't, for example, if the watershed is at 9, it's best not to use any swear word until 9:05 when people might be sort of, you know, in the process of switching over. So there is still regulation from that point of view. But I think it's true. I think we are likely to hear it a little bit more, but we have always used profanity. As I say, it's an area like slang. It's the language of rebellion, and we've always looked to it and used thoughtfully and carefully. It can have those benefits, you know, to relieve stress, to relieve anxiety, etc. But you really have to choose your situation carefully.
Susie, thank you very much. Always nice to catch up. Thank you for your wise words.
Thank you, as always.
Susie Dent's new tour, which is called Word Perfect, starts next month.